Energized Show, up the Irish.
Okay, what's going on, guys? And welcome to a brand new episode of Energized, brought to you by Forged Irish Stout and Or King's Competitions. Ross,
are you intoxicated or something?
Introduce the guest, man.
Today we are bringing you one of the most legendary, iconic figures of Irish mixed martial arts. It's the hooligan. It's Paddy Holohan. Paddy, you made history at the weekend, becoming the first coach to not only win a fight in the UFC, but then to coach someone to win a fight in the UFC. How did that feel, and how monumental was that for you and Shauna at the time?
Yeah, it was incredible. Shauna has put so much work into this, and she deserves every single bit of it. And it was crazy that it was against somebody I fought in the UFC. I was coaching against, which was Vaughton. So a big, strange, weird event, but Debbie. So great win, and she deserved it.
Yeah, myself and Ross watched the fight together, and we were absolutely buzzing for you, man. So congratulations to you, Shauna, and the team. Weren't we, Ross?
Yeah, we really were. It was great to see her get her hand raised. One thing, there was a couple of moments in the fight that were very interesting. Like one being you versus the cameraman. That was that's now gone viral. Paddy, has that ever happened to you before?
Never in my life. I didn't know what. I got the fright in my life as well. It's like, how did he get that close? Like, what was he doing that close?
I don't know. Well, I think so. I don't know who tweeted it. So shout out whoever did. But some of that was the best mate I've ever seen in my entire life. So
look, you didn't say something else. What?
That was incredible. Obviously the fight itself. Shauna's opponent was very, very tough. Like, she didn't want to go away. Like, she was big smile on her face as Shauna was punching the head off her. What's called. I thought Shauna definitely won round one. I thought, if I remember correctly, round two I thought was a bit closer, but I thought she really stepped it up a gear in round three. And I think I heard you talk to Pete, and the motto for the fight was whatever it takes, and it really was whatever it takes. And she went out there and won it. And then another thing I noticed was the delayed reaction from Shauna after her name was called out as the winner. Did you notice that in the cage as well, Paddy?
Yeah, we did. I think she was just waiting till the hand was raised before anything, so she just took that little bit of a moment, I think, and maybe she was right as well. Who knows these days?
Yeah, I was going to say that to you, Paddy. Like, obviously, from watching the fight, I thought it was very clear that Shauna won. Like, especially like what a dominant performance in round three. But was there any nerves when it goes to the judges' scorecards? Because we've seen some weird decisions in the past.
But that always is that like squeaky bum time, as they call it. It's yeah, absolutely. There's always nerves, because you just don't know. One of the judges, I don't think really got it. I had it down as 1 and 2, as I said in the fight. Basically, she'd won 1 and 2, just to be sure, and then she needed number 3. So looking at the scorecards, I think one of them got it all rounds. Basically, one of them got 1 and 2, which was right, and then one of them got can't remember what the other one was.
I always think, for me, when I'm watching a fight, Paddy, when there's an Irish person fighting, I always try and be as like negative towards them as possible to try and like get rid of your bias. I'm like, I don't think they won. And then like you're like, right, it was very close. Like they might have won, but for me, I was like, nah, like there shouldn't have been any splits in there. I thought it was very clear that Shauna won.
Yeah, definitely wasn't split. No way.
No, and tell us this: were you impressed with her performance on this occasion? Because I know last time out, she herself wasn't over the moon with her performance. But how did you feel she did this time out?
Yeah, I think like she took the whole occasion on her back as well. You know what I mean? It's a whole lot. It's a lot of pressure to take on. You know what I mean? And it gets kind of bigger as the week goes on as well, because interviews and questions, and people get more interested as the week goes on. So under that pressure and stuff like that, I think she went out there and she did whatever it took. You know what I mean? So she's lots of places to slow down and improve in. And the minute she finds that third round, basically, I think she's very, very dangerous to be in there against. You know what I mean? It's like a blitzy, jitsy, Thai boxing kickboxer. You know what I mean? In that way. So she has a really good frame for a style there. Be very, very dangerous, where it's not easy to walk into her because she has such good side kicks and they could be going to your face. And then she has good jiu-jitsu off her back as well, and she has really good jiu-jitsu off the top as well. So yeah, she's defined that from the start. And I think that she's a force to reckon it to keep building.
Yeah, Paddy,
really good. Go on, Bats.
Paddy, what did you make of the overall promotion of Shauna in the build-up to the fight as well? Like, not only here in Ireland, but also the way like TNT Sports and the UFC were pushing her.
Yeah, well, I think the UFC see that she's clever, you know what I mean, and she can speak and she can carry herself. She's not stupid, you know what I mean. And she's very intelligent in how she speaks, you know what I mean. She's able to say what she needs to say and say it in the right way. So yeah, I think the UFC see that she has massive potential, and then they always love the Irish and anyway. So it's the staff. If you go through the staff, you'll see there's loads of Irish in the staff as well. So it's hard not to be rooting for your own, I'm sure, if you're in there as well. So yeah, no, I think that the media, she didn't want to really do too much media. She took on an awful lot the last time. And it can just be draining. It's really draining. Like that kind of draining, you know, where you lie on your bed and you're like, oh, you just need to like lie down for a second. That was me yesterday. Especially I was supposed to do this interview with you.
Yeah.
I just need to lie down for a second.
No, it's all good, Paddy. It's all good. But like it is like that, especially when you're actually doing like the media days. Like you're doing 20-minute interviews back to back, and you might be doing 6 or 7 of them, and like you're being asked the same questions, and you're probably given a lot of the same answers, because that's just how the questions are going to be answered. So like I could definitely see the draining point on it, and I think she was right to take a step back. But one thing that will be looked back on in a few years' time, and I know, Paddy, you're quite the historian yourself, will be, she's the first woman to get her hand raised since Ash the Bash. You know what I mean? There hasn't been very many Irish women fighters in the UFC. Do you think that this win will be looked back on in 10 years' time and seen as so significant for women's MMA in this country?
Well, it was great to be involved with Ash and learn so much from Ash's career as well, myself, you know what I mean? So I was actually only telling someone this in the airport, and like, she's the second ever female to win a fight in the UFC, you know what I mean? And on an island in a country, that's a massive thing, you know what I mean? In a piece of history, and the firsts are great. I love firsts, you know what I mean? Because it's the new ground, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, playing Grand Theft Auto or something, you're moving into the new part of the map, you know what I mean? It's all different there. Everyone can enjoy it then, you know what I mean? But I think what Shauna has, what she can do for female MMA and MMA in her own, basically, is incredible, you know what I mean? She's a great role model in that way, to be able to follow work ethic, and that's for male or female athletes. So I think she's a really good thing there. I mean, she's got a head on her shoulders as well, and then she has a martial arts family, which is with her dad, Martin Bannon, in the corner there with us as well. So it was great to walk out with him, and myself pick his head on his view of some of the shots in MMA compared to, say, traditionally kickboxing or many years that he has there. So I think she has a really good team around her. So John Connors from the USI, and just so many different people that we work together, and we work really, really well together. So she's not just got to the UFC; she's got a win here now, and she has a team. She's learned a lot about the process of turning up on a Tuesday, checking in, and then that process till fight day, and every time it has got better regarding weight and stuff like that, regarding preparation, or less media, finding the balance in a way. And we're always trying to find the balance, and I think we got it well this time.
Because I do believe also in relation to the media, and like obviously, I suppose we are part of that media, but it's one of those ones where like you can do all the media till the cows come home, but all that really matters is come Saturday night, you get your hand raised, and that's better than all the media you can do. And that's what she went and done, and and she did it, in a really convincing fashion and style. So like, fair play to her. I sort of knew going into it, and I saw her speak about it afterwards, that like she's had a tough year, and she's had a few struggles outside the cage this year. We're not going to get into what they are, but was it, as her coach, was it hard for you to lift her at times, or was her training like the escape, did you feel?
Well, peace of mind is a very important thing in fighting, you know what I mean? So if you're like any athlete, it was football or whatever it is, basically, if you're looking to try and get the performance or looking to try to see them perform at their best, they have to have peace of mind, you know what I mean? And be very concentrated on what it is. So it can be hard sometimes with life outside, because life is like beats you around, you know what I mean? You don't know what's coming down the hill, you know? But I always say that, like I said to Shauna, or whatever comes your way in life sometimes is basically you prayed for it or you asked for it, and now you're being given the situation or the scenario to grow and expand and be tough, you know what I mean, regarding obviously her injury and having to move opponent and all of these things as well, you know what I mean? And then other stuff that's deeper again, you know what I mean? It's that moment that sometimes you ask for it and you pray for it, and then you are the person you need to be because of after it. So it can be very hard, or very easy to think that just these things you just get them. You don't, you know. It's like anything. It's sometimes the hard times create who you need to be for where you're going or what you're going to do. So I really feel she grew as a person over the last little while, and just understanding that life isn't fair at that time. Do you know what I mean? Most of the times it's not fair, but it's not. It's how you react to it. And the real people you have around you, you know what I mean? You have to have real people around you that are going to tell you. So sometimes maybe things you don't want to hear at the time, and but then you know in the hindsight that they probably had your best interests at heart.
Yeah, I'm sure it can be close, because I think anyone who knows the Hula martial arts, it's a family. Like it's not it's not just a, you know, you go in, you put on your shin pads and your boxing gloves, and then you go again. You know what I mean? It's like you can tell the closeness to it, and like, you know what I mean? Like all you have to hear is hear Shauna talk about Chelsea for about 2 minutes, and you know, like she's none of Hulahan herself, but the sounds of things.
Yeah, no, Chelsea's a great part of the gym as well. She's just such look, it's such a village, you know what I mean, in a way now. So we have the yoga studio there now, the flow therapy, the sauna yard, the kids classes all the way to adults. It's like a little village, you know what I mean, a little wellness village. And that's what I always wanted it to be, you know. It's there's a little sign on here, like kind of like curriculum book, you'll see it, and it's like 10% of the village basically are like warriors, and the other 90% are just ordinary Joes, supporting, pushing, helping. They're the most important people sometimes in the gym, because that's where the 10% comes from. The 90%, the people out there spill into the 10% because they start realizing their actual ability and what they're actually capable of. And I think I'd like to see the percentage of people who said, okay, I'm going to be a fighter, and then turned up in the gym and then proceeded all the way to the UFC. I don't think that is the way it happens, you know what I mean? It's curiosity kicks in. You turn up, you start training, you're doing a little bit. All of a sudden, life starts getting better. You start enjoying it. You start saying, "Look, I really like this," and then you start getting good. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, you start maybe submitting somebody who just won a medal last week, or you start saying, "Oh, hold on, maybe I can have a little go at this," and you tip all your toes in. But then there's some people who work in IT. We've got midwives working the gym. We've got all sorts of people working the gym. You know what I mean? Or training the gym. And they need to be able to have an environment to be able to grow as well in without getting hurt, without feeling under pressure that they have to perform and stuff, you know, because they have to perform in their jobs where we're white belts there. So it's about creating a place that they can come after work and come after in the time and then be better people in their society, you know. So and then being able to brush shoulders with everybody who competes or is going to be, you're sitting in a cage then, and you're there with your kids, you're sitting outside and you're watching now this athletes that walks around the gym, and there's no airs or graces about anybody, you know what I mean? Everybody's just individual and everyone gets on, you know. So it's you'd have kids who do training with, say, strength and conditioning coaches in the gym don't even train jiu-jitsu, would be like messaging Shauna saying like, all the best, you know, like. So it's just a great crossover from all the departments in the gym, and Chelsea stitches it all together with just the logistics of stuff, and stuff that I don't even know about.
The glue, what?
Yeah. Shout out Chelsea. We were trying to get Chelsea on the show, but she was like, "No, we'll leave it to Paddy." Very, very busy woman. But Paddy, undoubtedly, Sean is a star. Like when we were posting during the week, everyone was just getting on top of it. The thing is, the people are going to be wanting to tune in now and find out, when do you think Shauna could come back? Or when would you like to see her come back?
Our next fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a lot of people trying to get on the conveyor belts to fight at the same time as well. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a big roster. There's only so many cards. Yeah, so we'll just wait to see how the cards fall next little while. And it's just a little bit to kind of rest on our mind now, maybe for a few weeks, and then get back to the skills part of it. We're probably not pushing really, really hard into red zones and stuff like that, but really getting back on the skills part. There's some things we're still trying to fix, and that when they click, they really will click. Like, there's a moment in the fight where Shauna has an armbar, she rolls Alice over, basically, and then she goes to go again, but just makes a tiny little bit of an adjustment, and she would have got that armbar there if she had went shin across the head and faced the right way and went down, and it would have been a kind of Ronda Rousey-esque kind of armbar style, you know what I mean? But tiny little things like that, just being able to, in the gym, you do them over and over and over again, but just like there's a new kind of realm when you're in the UFC octagon, I think, you know what I mean? And you have to actually do it there then in front of everybody, and yeah, got to break through there. You're really, really comfortable, and when the time happens, you just do it. So we'll be back to doing some skill stuff and all after that, after the little break that she has, and then wait for the next scrap.
Yeah, I'm sure that call will come sooner rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Paddy, it was a fantastic night for Shauna. Really was. And one thing I just thought of there, I'm sure someone like Andy Hick could correct me wrong, but it must be one of the fastest ever times from, when you open the gym in Dublin 24 to have an athlete in the UFC and pick up a win. That must be one of the shortest amount of times to actually make that happen. Because if you actually think of the time, when did you open the gym, Paddy?
7 years ago. Shauna started training was 6 years ago.
Yeah, so like if you think from 7 years ago to today, or till Saturday night, like 7 years is a very small amount of time to open a gym to have an athlete getting their hand raised in the UFC. Like, I mean, some gyms could be 12, 13, 14 years before they even have someone signed to the UFC. And some probably even longer. So fair play on that, Paddy. That was very impressive. Yeah,
no, Shauna's a special athlete as well, though. You know what I mean? Having someone like that to work with is incredible. You know what I mean? Someone who turns up, someone who listens, someone who believes in what you're saying. And then we've been through many countries and from the start, basically. I think that's very important to know, because you need to know the spirit of a person or how to be able to feel that from them, So I'm blessed in the gym, basically, that we have got like a small knit group, and I like working with that. They're consistent and there all the time. You've got Yogi, you've got lots of other guys on the team coming up, as I mentioned here, as one of the pros. So there's 2 pros there, but basically developed through the team, and then came out as basically a product of the environment. Obviously Shauna had high level kickboxing and stuff like that, but we definitely tailored it. She uses that heavy, and it's really like the thing she leans into. We've tailored a heavy with really, really good grappling and then other shots as well. So yeah, it's been a mad journey the last 7 years. If you hadn't told me we're starting off to here, I don't know, maybe like, maybe it's gonna take a lot of work.
Yeah, and it has taken a lot of work. Another person we saw in the gym a bit in the build up to this fight, and it maybe didn't go their way, was Kiefer Crosby. Did you get a chance to look at Kiefer's fight, and what did you make of it?
Well, you only really got to look at it last night. Devastated for him. Big size difference, though. Looking at it, just looking at the big size difference in the divisions, basically. So the 2 fights that he's been up against like Goliaths nearly, like he was 6'3" and Kiefer's 5'11", and it's very hard to be dealing with that long distance style, especially with the style that Kiefer has. You know what I mean? But with a little spark of think of what you can do in there. He landed like an overhand right. We only really got to look at it last week because we were between medical tents and everything else in between, and being brought from one telly to the other. And then Sam's jiu-jitsu was really, really good, you know what I mean? So it was heartbroken for him. Yeah,
it was a tough one to see. I think some messages been like, would you like to see Kiefer move down to lightweight? What are your thoughts on that, Paddy? Obviously, as a fighter and someone who sees the weight cuts up close and personal, do you think that's an option for him, or do you think he's better being bigger and stronger at welterweight?
Well, I think you'd probably get a DEXA scan or something like that and figure what would be the safest way to do it, But I really would love to see a division between there, because it's one of the many divisions that like 7 kilo, you know what I mean, is in the way. So lightweight to welterweight is like that's a big jump, you know what I mean. So, and some people get stuck in the middle, where they could make 72 easy, but them 2 kilo are like the worst, you know what I mean. People go, oh, it's only 2 kilo. It's only 2 kilo after 10 kilo.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's hard, you know what I mean, in that way. So I'd love to see a division smuggled in there somewhere in between, for all the guys that are in between, because Sam, the guy that Kiefer even fought there, he had just came up with a thing from lightweight, so he was kind of in the middle of that as well. Like 7 kilo lighter, I really don't think would suit him.
No, it didn't. I think he got a bit chinier at lightweight because he was
everything's about the weight cut, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. In between, who knows? There could be a division down the future there for that. But that's what I'd like to see. But Key was going to have to make his own decisions. Obviously, he's a man and he can do that himself. You know what I mean? But it was good for him.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it was tough. It was a tough one to watch. And then obviously a bit close to your own weight class. Caolan Loughran fought Jake Hadley just to round up the Irish. It was. I felt like I was watching this almost like a replay for 15 minutes. It was nearly the same fight for the whole thing, where Caolan almost chased him around the border of the octagon, and they sort of exchanged shots. But what did you make of that fight, Paddy?
Yeah, it was a great fight. It was a great fight, it really was. Even watching Loughran in the dressing room, you know what I mean? Really good hands, and obviously his wrestling has always been up there. Jake taking that in a few days' notice, and I don't know if you've seen that video of him blowing out a candle, basically saying, "I wish I wanted to be in the UFC." It's like, and he's only a kid, and then so you have to keep your hats off to him as well. For you can imagine what that energy and that kind of fuel is like going in there. You know what I mean? After taking it on that note, was not having to worry about it all over that time as well. I think he obviously had to make the weight really, really hard, real run for that. But it was a good fight, I think. You know what I mean? The levels. So you see people talking about, and it's like this is like high level. You know what I mean? It's like people don't get there and for no reason. You know what I mean? So talking about lads going in basically and being high level, and little tiny mistakes can take rounds away, and it just chips away at your next round or wherever, you know. So hats off to the both of them. And
then speaking of Caolan, we might as well talk about his new best mate, fellow Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. What did you make of his win? Because obviously he's a controversial figure, and you know, I feel like people feel like he's been handed opponents, but I feel like this was a real win for him to show where he's at.
No, I think Paddy done really well. Like, you know what I mean? No one can deny that opponent there. And Paddy's been like dangerous since he's been 17. You know what I'm saying? In a way, with his flying triangles and his style. And if you look at him, he looks in incredible shape now. You know what I mean? And,
he does. Yeah, it's so funny how much he fluctuates between weight. Like, it's crazy.
It's great to hear him talk, honestly, you know what I mean, about about stuff that goes on in his head and about men speaking out and all this kind of stuff, where it's not an easy, and it shows as well. It's not just like you have fame, you have money, it doesn't really mean that at times, you know what I mean. So it's great to see somebody in his position where he could just probably truck along, but he's not even in fight week to put that on himself, you know what I mean, to come out and say something like that. Usually, like his fight was going to be pulled and stuff like that is honourable. You know what I mean? And we need more of that. We do, because that shows your strength rather than like as a weakness that would have been construed before, maybe. But and then to go out there and do that and get 200 G's, baby. You know what I'm saying?
One for each of the twins.
Yeah, one for each of the twins, yeah.
One for each of the
twins.
Well,
what's it called? Chelsea's asking, where were those bonuses when you were fighting, Paddy?
Stop. So I reckon if I had a push more, I would have been able to scramble one of them in Dublin. You know what I mean? I just didn't push more at the time. The Cottle got one, Kiefer, Gunny got one, and Connor got one. It was like,
first, you could argue Cole's comeback was still one of the best comebacks in UFC history.
Yeah, and then he got two. Cottle got two bonuses because Mike failed it.
Because you ran the juicer.
He got 100 G, you know what I mean? And well deserved. Worked hard, worked so hard for it, you know what I mean? But I reckon now we're doing a bit more head on my shoulders. I'd scramble one of them 50 grands off, down and down at that table.
You didn't ask him whether you were there, no?
Conor did. What about the hell? He said, give him a half.
No, you on the weekend.
Oh, no. Maybe a bit of compo for the bang of the camera. I'm only messing. That was all good fun.
Stop. And obviously moving into the two title fights, Tom Aspinall. Like, is there any other fight than Tom Aspinall versus John Jones that the world wants to see now after that?
No, I don't.
He's a bulldozer,
and he's been a gentleman about it as well. You know what I mean, which is really, really cool. So yeah, it's great to see him work that pact with his dad, and he's just a really good person. You can just tell by him. You know what I mean? He just carries himself really well. And I think maybe he regrets the petrol thing. Probably, I think the Irish probably got that a little bit more than the UK when he was going on about the hands in petrol.
Are you gonna have Shauna putting the hands in petrol now for the next camp?
We've already been doing that already. We put the feet in petrol.
Put the hands in Force Irish Stout.
Oh yeah, mixed with a bit of proper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll be telling them all the secrets, guys. Come on.
And then obviously Bilal Muhammad won. There was actually some great scenes of him over in the UK with the Palestine flag and what's it called. Obviously that's from I suppose outside the cage point of view that was brilliant. I feel like from a promotional point of view they don't think he's the bee's knees in terms of putting bums in seats and selling tickets, but he went out there and put on a performance. I suppose the one thing is it didn't feel like the same Leon Edwards that we've seen in the past. Maybe that was just due to how good Bilal was, but do you think the time difference fighting at that early in the morning plays a massive difference, Paddy?
Yeah, the time had to be a weird one, you know what I mean? No matter what zone, if you're living in a zone of like we're 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't really matter what time, you know what I mean? And then regarding like the whole scenes around it, that would have been a lot of pressure on Bilal as well, you know, like considering what's being done there in Palestine, you know, and then to have to carry that flag and represent the people of Palestine is a serious thing on their shoulders, and he done well with it there, you know what I mean? And it was great to see. It was great to see Palestinian flags flying high around the place for the week, you know what I mean? It really was. People are starting to see. We've always seen the Irish, I think, you know, but people are starting to see now, you know, and now we really something needs to be done about that situation a long time ago, but it's an emergency now, and hopefully he can use maybe his platform to bring some shine to what's going on there, you know what I mean? So and then people need everything that they can get now, so to get a UFC champion at a time like this is probably bigger than all of us, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a historic event, Paddy, and one that will be remembered in the record books for years. You know, another synonymous event with the hooligan with his hand involved. So fair play to you, and fair play to Shauna for getting a hand raised. That was the sort of takeaway for me for the weekend. Shauna was the big winner of the weekend for us. It was incredible to see. I do just want to ask you about one other person, the other professional in the Holohan martial arts camp, Georgi Grozev, or however you say his name. I'm sure
George, we call him George.
Yeah, George. What's called? Obviously, he went out and put on a phenomenal performance at Cage Warriors 174. How proud were you of that? And that was another funny one, seeing you across from Brad Pickett corner, because that was a fan's dream matchup as well that people wanted to see. I think, did you guys grapple against each other there a while back? No.
Were
you meant to grapple or something? No.
We done the octagon. You done octagon.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I thought there was maybe a grappling match at some stage back, maybe Polaris or something. But I feel like that one needs to be resolved, Paddy. I feel like you and Brad need to tangle somewhere.
We do tangle. Every time we see him, we have a little mess. Every time we see him running on the weekend, I was having a little mess with him there. Yeah, no. Brad's all right. Brad's a good skinny, you know. And he's Jorge basically is he's incredible. Jorge has the chance, the ability to go all of the way. I think anybody who moves from and the same again, another person who has came through and their work ethic and their skills it speaks for themselves. So going and fighting someone like Tommy Brunnen in your second fight, you know what I mean? 2 times amateur champion for Cage Warriors, and then being able to deal with that situation the way he did, you know. So I'm excited for him, and people need to. He's still only 2-0. You know what I mean? So he needs to walk the way he needs to walk. So the next level, and then I think he could walk through the door as well. And another total different person to personality, say like Sean or something. And I think that's important. That you're producing different personalities and different people, different styles. And that's what he is. He's an incredible athlete. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen to him in the future. And there's another guy, real quick, Daniel. I have to give him a shout out. Italian Daniel, as we call him, but he's actually German. But he fought Cage Legacy for Tristan, basically on Cage Legacy, and got a good win there as well. So jumped up an opponent. So 3 opponents over 3 weekends. That were no joke, and it was great to get a win in them all.
HMA coming up tops.
Paddy, how do you feel? Paddy, just before we let you go, how do you feel to go back to Cage Warriors as well, like, and have Georgie fight there?
Yeah, it was good. We actually haven't got much dealings with Cage Warriors, to be honest. Like 1 or 2 or 3 in the future, or in the past. Chelsea just signaled me in the door there for the command. This needs to be done now. So I hadn't really got to. So I've been around, obviously. I was there the night Conor won the belt, and then that'll come up, and then just before I'd gone to the Ultimate Fighter myself, I was maybe supposed to fight on it, but then the Ultimate Fighter happened before that. So it's always good to be around it and stuff like that. And the setup's good. And it was in London, so it was really, really cool. It was in the Indigo in London as well. So it was up on the stage and all. So good setup. He looked after as well. So it was good to be there as well. So 2 decent promotions in a weekend, 2 weekends, to get the win. And as I said, Daniel with his little win as well was a cracking win. So let me fight this guy, please. All right, I'm not going to be there, but Joseph back done his corner. And they went and got it done. I think he won the last 10 seconds or something like that by rear naked choke, which was pretty Daniel-esque.
But like Cage Legacy always put on a good show, and so do Cage Warriors. Paddy, just before we let you go, what can we expect next from yourself? Like, obviously you were coaching on Octagon. We've seen you in Polaris recently. Is there anything else in the pipeline for the Hooligan?
Probably a few scraps in the council chamber. I take that lightly. That was a joke.
Obviously,
you know? Yeah, it's not that obvious.
No, it's not that obvious. No.
It's like, did he say? Yeah, but so I'm busy with the council stuff as well. But like, I'm just balancing all. I'm flat. I go teach now at 12 o'clock. So I teach the jiu-jitsu now, and I love doing that. Still walking onto the mat to teach and do a little bit of training and watch the other people grow. And I'm blessed with the group I have around me. Some of the jiu-jitsu coaches that have come up, and some of the lads that help me run the gym and help me teach the classes and move on to basically the next kind of discovery in what we're doing with grappling and jiu-jitsu. Keep growing, you know what I mean? People like Daniel Clooney and Casper and Sam Delaney and some of the lads that, just really, really good guys. And obviously one of my main men, Dean Donnelly there as well. So, it's good, so good. You know what I mean? And anybody I forgot even there is like, my apologies, because it's just such a good team, such a great amount of people. You know what I mean? You've got the strength and conditioning coaches and just everybody there.
Paddy, thanks a million for your time, bud. We'll let you get on with the rest of your day, okay?
Cheers, lads.
Energized Show, up the Irish.
So, Ross, that was the Hooligan. Everyone's favourite Hooligan.
Everyone's favourite Hooligan. Legend of the game. Huge win for him and Sean at the weekend. They really do feel like such a dream team as well. If you know what I mean, like it feels like it means as much to Paddy as it does to Shauna. So yeah, great to have a chat with them, and great to see them flying that Irish flag high in the UFC. Yeah,
like as we said, like there was 3 Irish athletes on the card. Shauna got the win. She set the tone. Unfortunately, Kiefer lost. It's going to be interesting to see now what Kiefer does next, Ross.
Yeah, it will be. I think there was one of the questions, I think it was from Ryan Carey, asked when he moved down to lightweight. We sort of floated to Paddy. I think, like, physique structure-wise, I think he's probably closer to lightweight than he is to welterweight. Just after seeing him fight Giuseppe and then seeing him fight Sam Patterson, just the height difference is huge, if you know what I mean. I think he's more closer to, like, a Dustin Poirier frame than he is to one of those guys. But, again, like, I actually thought he did quite well while I was on the feet, just as soon as I went to the ground, Sam Patterson's black belt level really shone through.
Yeah. I still would have liked to see Kiefer against Oban Elliott. I felt like that was actually the fight to make. Like stylistic wise, it would have been perfect, especially because the time difference. Well, not like like what time they're fighting at for the fans to get more energized.
Yeah, I would have been all for it.
Yeah, I think everyone would have been up for that. And then Ken Lochran, as we said, it looked like he just didn't push it harder against Jake Hadley.
Yeah, you know what? I'd say it's one of those ones where hard to know when he was in there because he was chasing him. Did he feel like he was winning? If that makes sense, because I'm sure it's a different feeling in there than it is actually watching at home. As in, like, you probably see more from at home, and like he might have like landed a shot that lands on the gloves and feel like, oh, that was a good shot, that'll probably score for me. You know what I mean? That was sort of like smile because, like, even though I think, you know, I think one of the judges gave it 30-27 to Hadley, like. It's one of those ones you can win all 3 rounds of a fight, but the fight be very, very close. Yeah, if that makes sense. So, like, the fight was razor close. Look, I think Kalen will learn a lot from that fight, and he'll improve and he'll make the adjustments.
Yeah. Do you think the opponent changed the incidents with Paddy the Baddy in the build of the fight? Do you think that had anything got to do with it?
I don't know if I'm going to say specific to anything to do with it, but like he was also fighting at 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
probably not ideal. I think like obviously having that, like his phone would have been blowing up after the Paddy incident. Not ideal. And then like the last minute opponent change, also not ideal. So again, like I feel like very similar to the Paris fight. Like he had a few changes that he had to deal with. And look, it is the fight game; these things happen. But again, like I feel like Kalen's someone who gets like meticulously ready for someone, and then like a last minute opponent change, I feel like doesn't actually suit his style as well.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to reiterate what we said a few weeks ago. I don't think the UFC should be doing cards at this time or at that time anymore.
No, like silly carry on.
Nah, it doesn't suit anyone. No one wants it. No one's actually asked for it. I know the American fans are, but like think about all the UK and Irish fans that go over to watch the events and have to stay there. Did you see the videos of people like the fans asleep in the crowd?
Yeah. After paying 500 quid to be asleep.
Yeah.
Disaster.
Jesus. Yeah, absolute disaster, bro.
And then Dana White was like, "Oh, the fights weren't great." I was like, "Well, like, you made people fight at a ridiculous time, so like, I'm not surprised they weren't great."
Yeah. And then, for the people tuning in now, we were meant to do a show last week, but like I came home from a wedding and like I was sick all week. Ross, you were getting stuff done to the house. As Paddy mentioned, he was meant to come on the show. Then we moved it back a couple of days, and then time didn't work out, so we reshared the Kiefer show and the Kalen show. Look, in life, we plan to do a show every week, and like 99% of the time we do, but on the off chance we don't, we do apologize about that because we know people love to stay very energized.
They do indeed.
Ross, just a couple of things before we wrap things up, right? Cage Warriors obviously had 2 events in the space of less than a week, one in London, one in Manchester. Just sort of putting 2 into 1, what did you sort of make of the overall events together?
Yeah, I thought the Cage Warriors, the prize fighter won 174. It was very long watch. Now, like obviously the fights were good, so I didn't mind watching it. Like, well, I never mind watching it, but it was very, very long. So I think maybe they need to put less fights on when they have the prize fighter, but maybe they make it longer. How the people who fight in the first semi-final then have more time to recover for the final. It had a good bit of buzz to it. J.R. Harris put on a very good performance. Didn't get his hand raised now, but lost a very close decision. Emer Darcy looked sensational, and as did George Grozov as well. So like there was some great performances from the Irish on the card, like there normally is. And then obviously with Manchester, Mason Jones put on a fantastic performance over there. Unfortunately, Adam Shelley and Ryan Shelley over the weekend over the 2 weekends didn't get their hand raised. So it'll be interesting to see what the Team KF guys do coming back from that.
Yeah, and then Cage Legacy was also on over the weekend. Max Ledley won in the first round by TKO, and Conor McCarthy won by TKO as well. Ross, one thing that aspect you said about Cage Legacy, right? As much as we love Irish MMA, whoever is the streaming like source or whoever is producing the event, when Max Ladu fought, it like cut out, and then all of a sudden he had won. And like, what's very important for these,
that's a reoccurring thing as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what's
like the stream froze? We were watching together, and the stream must have froze about 10 times. So whatever provider you're using to do the stream, needs to like update their equipment or something else, because like at the end of the day, it makes it a painful watch. It really hinders their product, and most importantly, it really hinders the fighters.
Yeah, because what's most important for the fighters to be fighting on these platforms is to have their finishes recorded to therefore promote themselves. And like if you cut out when they're like about to win, especially in the main event, like that helps nobody. So that's just something that, like, I mean, the people tuning in now, like, I mean, this isn't a regular occurrence in other Irish MMA organizations, but like when that happens, like, that's absolute bullshit. You know what I mean? Especially like Max Lally is the #1 ticket seller, and if people are home tuning in to watch him, see him win, and then all of a sudden it cuts out, and then he's on top of the cage, that's just very, very disappointing.
It's absolutely shite. That's what it is. Pure bollocks.
Yeah, it's pure shite.
Like there's no point like dancing around. Like if that happened in UFC, there'd be uproar if the main event froze, and then like all of a sudden Tom Aspinall was there playing on top of the cage celebrating the win, and he didn't get to see the knockout.
Now, if it was a free stream, you sort of just have to bite the bullet. But like when you're paying to watch this
pay-per-view,
come
in and it kicks out. Nah, not having that. Although that's saying, good to see the two guys get their hand raised, and I think the biggest winner of the night was Kyle O'Sullivan. That knockout was absolutely sensational. That head kick knockout, that was next level.
Pure viral, man. Pure viral. Right, we're going to get into the energized questions. I want to thank everyone for actually sending in the questions. The first one is actually from Elite Fighting Championship in Cork. They're going to have a huge event coming up in, I think it's September.
Brian Manning's pro debut.
They're saying that Bilal versus Shavkat and Leon versus Ian Gary and Jack Della Maddalena face the winner of Leon versus Ian, and the winner of that faces Bilal or SR Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Shavkat, yeah. Sign me up. I can't wait to go down to the next. I can't wait to go down to the next league fighting championship in Cork and watch Shavkat versus Bilal. That's going to be whopper.
Jeez, Barry O'Callaghan full of cash. Ryan Kerry says John Jones versus Aspinall prediction.
I can't see anyone stopping Tom Aspinall right now. I think like he is shit hot right now, and I think if he lands one of those punches on John Jones, I think John Jones hits the deck.
Yeah, after Aspinall gave in the press conference, he said that all he wants to do, he doesn't want to go to parties, he doesn't want to be on yachts, he doesn't want to do anything else bar put gloves on and fight. And like that is a scary human being to be around. And we've been around that chap. He's probably as big as Francis Ngannou, isn't he?
Probably not far off, like, to be honest. And I think like as much as like I want him to get the Jones fight, I don't know if I don't want to wait till November to see that guy again. Like he just got done in 60 seconds. Like I just want to see that guy fight. Like Tom Aspinall, I think, is one of the biggest attractions UFC have right now. And if like Pereira wants to go up to heavyweight and they want to make that fight, like I'm all for it. Like
I can't see them putting Pereira up there. Who give us some other options there, Ross, for Aspinall?
I think that's really it, to be honest. Like, unless like he's already been offered Cyril Gann turned it down. So like I don't really see
who's the main event of that upcoming Paris card, or have they even made
Cyril Gann
against who?
Is he fighting
like Spivak or something?
I feel like that was the last one. Gann fought Spivak.
Oh, who's the guy? Sorry, who's
it's not Volkov, is it?
I'm
it's not Volkov after fighting.
What about
what's his name?
Is Gann against Pavlovich? No, that could be interesting.
I'm looking up here. Oh, he's fighting Volkov. If Volkov wins, I think Volkov actually does deserve a shot. Like Volkov's on an absolute tear at the moment. I just didn't know because Volkov recently. I actually think that's going to be in Abu Dhabi, that fight. You know that?
Really? Abu Dhabi's going down this
308 one. But yeah, Volkov's on a bit of a tear at the moment. He just beat Sergey Pavlovich, Tai Tuivasa, Alexander Romanov, and Jorginho Rosenstrike. So like
Ross,
he's 1-4 since Tom Aspinall's beat him. So there you go.
Do you think that Aspinall will set a record for defending the interim title more times than anyone else?
I think if he does another defense, like that's it, isn't it? I think one is the record. I think he's the co-record holder if that's the thing.
The greatest interim champ of all time.
You better believe it, baby.
Ryan Carey 95 wants to know, who is the national MMA coach of the year so far?
Oh jeez, I think I was only thinking this, like, there's plenty of coaches who do unbelievable things, and there's plenty of coaches, like, you look at someone like Danny McCormick, who has done unbelievable things with the youths setup, and I don't think the juniors, like, I think, like, unbelievable work she's done with that, and, like, you know, the Relentless Martial Arts team there have performed incredible. Like, I see she puts up, like, sort of the gold medals on the wall up there, or the pictures of the gold medals. They've done unbelievable. Same with Mikey and Team Rhino John Mead. Like, he's done incredible stuff, and his son is actually on the team as well. So, like, they've done incredible stuff with the youths. But, like, if you're, I always feel like you sort of judge, a lot of the time you judge the gym on the accolades of their fighters, if you know what I mean. And I'd say the biggest win in the last, or in 2024 so far, is probably James Sheen when the world title at Cage Warriors. I think that's probably the biggest win of an Irish fighter who trains out of an Irish gym so far this year. I don't know if you can think of any that are much bigger than that, Paz, can
you? People would argue Paul Hughes, PFL.
Yeah, like, that's totally valid as well. Like Fight Academy Ireland lads have done incredible as well. So, like, you know, like, Fight Academy Ireland, Shando's had an incredible year, and so have Team Rhino so far. So, like, they're probably the ones that are standing out to me at the moment.
Yeah, well, like Danny McCormick deserves an honorary mention, and she will be back in action very, very soon on the UFC. Just what she's doing for the youth is very, very commendable, and
absolutely,
that shouldn't go unnoticed.
No, definitely.
Ryan was also asking who's next for Bilal. We sort of already covered that. We put a poll out on the Energized Show's Instagram page. It's either Leon Edwards or Shavkat Rakhmonov. Ross, what is the percentage of voting right now as we speak?
Oh, I think Shavkat's going in favour.
It's 69% Shavkat, 31% Leon. That would actually be a trilogy. And then there's just one or two more questions, Ross. Hold on for a second. Eric OD96 always sends in a question. He was asking what's next for BDK, lads. Continue at welterweight or drop to lightweight? We already covered that. We both think that he's probably going to stay at welterweight. He's 34 now, 0-2 in the UFC. That'd be very interesting to see.
You know what? What about domestic clash between Kiefer and Rhys McKee?
The headline UFC Dublin?
Anywhere.
I don't see why they have to fight each other, but
no, I'm not saying that like I'd rather they both fought someone else and beat someone else, but I'm more so saying, like, I think, like, they're both 0-2 on their current run, so, like, it actually would make a bit of sense.
True, but, like, that would be an absolute enormous fight for Irish fans.
Yeah,
like, and the thing is, at the end of the day, when you're fighting, you want people to tune in and watch, so like, that wouldn't go amiss. Al Colosi asks, when do you come to San Diego to do a show? We get asked this every week, and we always say, Graham Boylan, show us the cash, bro. DH Newman, where does Lee Hammond fight next? FCC ? If he wins, could he be on the Conor December card? Ross?
I've heard he's actually fighting in Madrid. I don't know what promotion he's fighting under, but he'll be out in the coming weeks in Madrid. But again, it could be on FCC, because he also said it was on UFC Fight Pass. So we'll see where he comes up. I'll be interested to see where he's back out next.
Okay. And then I sent in, you can't bait a few scraps. Ross, it was very much enjoyable to watch Cage Legacy with you and the UFC. Also, shout out to Craig Oakley fighting on One Fighting Championships this Friday, Ireland's favourite Muay Thai fighter. And then just this weekend, the UFC is back, and it's Corey Sandhagen taking on Umar Nurmagomedov. The people have voted, Ross. Who do they think is going to win this main event in Abu Dhabi?
Umar Nurmagomedov.
It's actually 79% are team Corey Sandhagen, 21% Umar Nurmagomedov. Ross, always wrong as per usual, bud. Especially with the fight picks over the weekend. But we won't get into that because people, they don't need to know everything behind the scenes that goes on.
Right. Well, guys, thanks a million for joining in, and thanks for tuning in to watch us. And if you want to support the lads, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and as always, stay energized.
Energized Show, up the Irish. Been sussing you guys a couple of times. I've seen a couple of clips. I think you done some interviews with Dylan Moran and that I saw. So keep going, keep up the good work, guys.